Once a year, the normally quiet city of Wanganui is transformed with 20 of New Zealand's fastest GP hydroplane and Formula One tunnel hulls racing in a unique event on the Wanganui River.
It's the hometown, and what a great place it is, and what a great crowd we get here, and the council and the backing from all the supporters and sponsors in Wanganui itself to sort of make this free event happen is just unreal. 30 years I've been running hydros and flat bottoms. I started in the bottom classes and we built our way up, and the family all came up together with us, and as they grew up they eventually got a boat, so we've sort of increased in size a bit since then, and they're keener than I am, to be fair. I think I'm probably a bit past it, but they're on a roll, so we'll see how we go. The river's very narrow. I think it's about 90 metres wide, the river. The general courses we run on are 400 metres wide. So, and the boys are usually about 200 metres apart, and here they're 50 metres apart, so really tight. And obviously we do flying laps because you can't run a number of them together because of safety. I think they'll be doing 280 k's plus today, yeah. So it'll be pretty 2,000 horsepower, 8 gallons a minute of fuel, and they'll be going hard.
One of the top Formula One tunnel drivers is reigning New Zealand champ, Luke Sharp.
Welcome to the world of Formula One powerboat racing. I drive for the Prompt Parts team. Here at Wanganui is our first round. You can expect 12 boats hooning around this track at about 180 to 190 kilometres an hour, turning on a dime and avoiding logs down the river.
The conditions early on were testing the crews, with strong gusty winds proving less than ideal for the GP Hydros and the Formula Ones. With an early start to the season, all of the GP hydroplane crews used the Wanganui Downtown Thunder event as a shakedown for the upcoming circuit racing schedule. The conditions were not getting any better, as highlighted by Warwick Lupton in Annihilator race boats and Ken Lupton in his new boat, Lucas Oil. The wind and changing tides were proving to be a challenge for all of the boats, including Jack Lupton here in GP 57.
Yeah, good. It's not a lot of loads coming out at the moment. No, you can't get an understanding there because it's just going boof and bang.
Then David Alexander and Steeler headed out. And he had this ugly and scary moment highlighting that the sport of GP hydroplane racing is not for the faint-hearted. Safety in the sport is paramount.
First of all, we have a spare air system, and they vary from a mask type to I just have a valve type that I actually push in if I need it, and we carry our own spare, which is on our leg. So in case of an accident, we can actually, if we're stuck in the boat, we've got air. And also on the boats, we're equipped with an airbag system. So when it goes upside down, it actually blows a big bag off and actually puts the boat back up in the air. So the divers can get to a lot easier. So the GP hydroplanes and that they use, and some of the Formula One boats, they use a Tiger system, which is a full mask breathing system, which I just use the same as what Formula One do in the World Series. I actually bought it off them. So yeah, that's the two systems that most people use, either a mask or you use this in case of emergency if you haven't got out of the boat.
After the break, it's race one for the Formula One tunnels. Sunday morning dawned with some better conditions on the river, meaning an early start for the Formula One teams for the first race of the New Zealand Championship Series. The grids were marble drawn as the conditions on day one didn't allow a qualifying session. Here's the highlights of race number one with 12 boats out on the water, the first round of the New Zealand Formula One Championship. Boats to look out for, obviously Malcolm Jamieson, former national champ, and the reigning national champion, Luke Sharp in Prompt Parts. But it's Julian Stillwell and Scott Construction with the whole shot on lap number one. With an outside run, that was Sam Hughes down the inside, on board with Philip Stillwell back through the field. On board with Julian Stillwell, and he's in second now. Jeff Price and Lone Wolf Racing has the race lead and the inside line. Stillwell having to contend with the outside. Sam Hughes down the inside. Back on board with Stillwell. Further back, Philip Stillwell. That's Steve Priest to his outside in his brand new race boat, the former Anthony Robinson KRB, now known as TRT. Fantastic race out in front. Still Jeff Price down the inside. Stillwell got that outside line working. But Jeff Price has track position in the white number 12, Lone Wolf Racing. Stillwell pulls up alongside. Sensational opening heat for the first round of the New Zealand Championship here at Downtown Thunder on the Wanganui River. Stillwell with a big run down the back straight, but he can't get that favoured inside line. On board with Jeff Price, and Stillwell now gets the advantage. But a beautiful inside run there from Price. Gets the lead back, but this is a stunner. In front of a packed crowd on the banks of the Wanganui River. You can see how little of the boats are in the water, pretty much just the last quarter of the boat and the props with these Mercury Racing outboards. Stillwell in a little bit of rougher water to the outside. Price looking very, very comfortable down the inside. Absolutely flat out down the back straight. And again, look at the tighter turn there from Price. Stillwell cannot get the advantage. That's well and truly now in the hands of Jeff Price and Lone Wolf Racing. Biggest lead of the race he's had since the start. Stillwell just dropping back with Sam Hughes back in third. Here's the reigning national champion, Luke Price in prompt parts. Looking out over the rear deck. Unique shot. You can see both sides of the river. As we go back on board with Total, Philip Stillwell. Race leader still Jeff Price, Lone Wolf Racing, boat number 12. He's got a gap back to Stillwell. Some lap traffic for the race leader. Oh, and a problem there. The engine cover comes off Jeff Price's race boat. Just caught an awkward wave. Shouldn't cause too many issues. It's Luke Sharp's trying to play catch-up. A quiet opening race for the defending national champion. And in fact, he's about to go down a lap to the leaders. Price has already gone by. Stillwell goes by. Stillwell now starting to come back with that engine cover off. Has it hurt the aero on the number 12 Lone Wolf Racing boat? Stillwell right back in the equation now, just a boat length in it. Price still on the outside, got an awkward run off the exit. As Stillwell winds up down the back straight. Very, very physical race boats to run. Big G-forces through the corners. And again, just the prop in the water a couple of times there for Stillwell. And he's going to try and get through to the lead. The white flag out for Stillwell and Price. Side by side with one to go. Not too much lap traffic up ahead. They should not get to it. On the run down to the checkered flag again, Price with an awkward run on the inside where he was so strong at the beginning of the race. But Julian Stillwell is coming back and making a race of it. One corner left to go. Stillwell winds up on the outside. Price on the inside. Approaching the northern end of the course. It's going to be close, and the run down to the checkered flag. Who has got the win? That is so close to call. Stillwell on the outside, Price on the inside. Who got the victory in race number 1 here on the Wanganui River? Well, it was that close. It was Julian Stillwell on the outside taking the win in race number 1 from Jeff Price in Lone Wolf Racing. Sam Hughes in unfinished business in third ahead of Anthony Robinson in his new design Windows boat. Going back through the field, Luke Sharp in 7th, Ryan Birch 8th, Derek McAdam a DNF.
Yeah, no, very happy. It was quite a tough race for us. I had pretty much spent the whole race with no power steering. So, you know, I was having to wedge my arms up against the side of the cockpit trying to hang on, and yeah, I wasn't actually quite sure whether I got him on the finish line or not, because I never really saw the checkered flag. I was busy just trying to keep the speed up, and it was pretty good tough race, to be honest.
Unfortunately, it's come off a few times and I'm a little bit used to it. We put some extra hatch pins on this time and thought it was going to hold, but that's an extremely tight corner and we caught it right and it gave it, they're reckoning 5 Gs, so 5 times its weight. Yeah, just didn't hold on.
Yeah, a little bit of mayhem. I don't know what's actually going on, but when we come in, we notice a bit of smoke in the cockpit, so we're just going through everything at the moment. We haven't come up with anything, but hopefully we'll make it for the next race.
Coming up next, it's race 2 for the Formula 1 tunnels, and the mighty GP Hydroplanes get on the river for the downtown flying lap. One of the new names in New Zealand's GP Hydroplane ranks is young Jack Lupton. GP57 is one of the newest boats in the country.
I'm the pilot of GP57 Grand Prix Hydroplane. The engines are about 1,500 to 1,800 horsepower and they run on methanol. My main thrills of driving a GP Hydroplane is every lap's different, and trying to cover a rugby field over 1.1 second is an amazing feeling, so that's my thrill.
Next up, it is race 2 for the Formula 1 tunnels, the first round of the New Zealand Championships, with the grid lined up as a reverse grid from race number 1. And as you can see with these rollers coming in down the river, slightly trickier conditions than what we saw for race number 1, with another fantastic lineup with these amazingly quick Formula 1 tunnels. Look at them leap up out of the water. Steve Priest out on the inside in TNT, the former Anthony Robinson KRB hull. There's Ray Glass, Malcolm Jamison's new boat. Luke Sharp set up for flatter water in race number 1, and a big moment there for Sam Hughes in unfinished business. Here's the replay, just caught a wave and the boat turned 90 degrees left. Very lucky not to turn over the number 7 boat. Malcolm Jamison, your race leader in Ray Glass, former national champ. Steve Priest to his inside in TNT. Luke Sharp back there in about 5th, on board with Julian Stillwell. Now, look at the data. 160 kilometres. Water's a little bit smoother down at the bridge end, the northern end of the course. Sam Hughes has stopped out there. That may have been a legacy from that huge moment he had off the race start. As Malcolm Jamison continues to lead. There's Anthony Robinson going through in 4th in design windows. Brand new Barber hull, 2.5 litre Mercury power. And likewise a brand new boat for Malcolm Jamison, a DAC. The highly modified 2.5 litre EFI Mercury outboard. Back on board with Stillwell, we saw the top speed previously 164 kilometres an hour for the race 1 winner, but he's a little bit further back through the field. You can see the lateral G's and the acceleration and deceleration. Steve Price just has an awkward rounding there at the southern end of the course, but it's Jamison in control. New sponsor this season with Ray Glass, brand new race boat imported out of Europe. Former national champion, a very good boat builder in his own right. In fact, built the Annihilator race boats, GP Hydroplane, driven by Warwick Lupton. Quite a distinctive hull profile. Quite a different aero package down off the back of the cockpit, heading down towards the outboard. This wonderful front-on shot. You can see how little of the boat is in the water. They are literally flying. Steve Priest having some problems. He's dropped down the order. Anthony Robinson is in 2nd position. White flag is out. Julian Stillwell, consistent for the weekend. He's now up into 3rd. And looking at the data, getting up to speed now. Certainly the bottom part of the course is a lot rougher. Northern end of the course where they're heading to now, 162 kilometres an hour. As Malcolm Jamison looking to take his first victory at the first round of the New Zealand Championships. Gets it turned down into the checkered flag. Jamison takes heat number 2 for the Formula 1 tunnels. DNF, unfortunately, for Sam Hughes, parked up on the inside of the course. Malcolm Jamison with the victory in Ray Glass. Jamieson with the victory ahead of Anthony Robertson in Design Windows. Julian Stillwell go with his win in Heat 1, third for race number 2 in Scott Construction, with Derek McAdam, Luke Sharp and Jeff Price completing the top 6. Steve Priest in 7th, Nick Coles in 8th, with DNS for Sam Hughes, Ryan Birch and Philip Stillwell.
Yeah, it was really good to get that second race in. On the first one, we were on the pole 11 at the back, so it was a bit of a harder job. But on that race there, coming from pole 1, we got our stuff sorted, and yeah, we started to pull away right at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty stoked with the way the weekend's gone. I mean, it's the weather conditions have held out today for us, so we've been able to push the boat through some rough stuff to see how it handles in that, and we've put the boat back on the trailer. It's still in one piece, and we can set up for Carapero.
Different story, starting from the second row, and I had Derek pushing me behind me. I could see him in my mirrors, and he just kept coming, and I was really, sort of resorted to the fact of where I was, and I was starting to think, start to back off a bit and save a bit of the gear, but Derek just kept coming. I could see him in both mirrors, and it was tough, and it was pretty rough out there, a lot rougher than it looked.
Certainly was testing conditions for the Formula 1 Series. First round of the championship, Julian Stillwell with the lead, 50 points ahead of Malcolm Jamieson on 47. Anthony Robertson in third on 43 ahead of Jeff Price, Luke Sharp and Sam Hughes. Those having a few little issues throughout the weekend, a little bit further down in the order. Time for the big boys, the GP hydroplanes for the Downtown Flying Lap, Downtown Thunder here at Wanganui, and it's Ken Lupton in Lucas Oil's GP 09. Ron Jones hull, imported into New Zealand last year. Beautifully presented in Lucas Oil colours for the 14-15 season. Now watch the time, or we'll have a split for the bottom turn. You can see how much rougher it is down there. 16.08 at the split. These boats capable of up to 2,000 horsepower, turning over at about 8,500 RPM. A little bit of a moment there on the back straight. Certainly not at full throttle for Ken Lupton. Again, just highlighting how difficult the conditions are at the bottom end of the course. A lot smoother water here at the northern end of the course. And down to the flying finish. Ken Lupton in Lucas Oil's time, 45.09. Solid effort there from Ken Lupton. And how's about that flying start from David Alexander and Steeler GP 777, 2012 Henderson Old hull, 2,000 horsepower, Big Chief Chev, supercharged on methanol. Big step up from his previous Stordarker hull that served David Alexander so well over so many seasons around New Zealand and Australia in GP hydroplane racing. Bottom end of the course, look at the shark on the cockpit. 2 seconds up on Ken Lupton. He's got the adjustable front canard wing working overtime here as he's getting on the throttle down the back straight. These boats capable of 280 kilometres an hour. Not quite at that in these rougher conditions on the Wanganui River. Quite a wide turn into the final corner, second split. He's just up, only 0.45 of a second up on Ken Lupton and Lucas Oils. Down to the flying finish. Now getting some RPM on board, and 47.09, lost a little bit of time out of that final turn, 2 slower than Ken Lupton. Next up, it's young Jack Lupton in GP 57. Another spectacular GP hydroplane. On board, 2010 Henderson Old hull. Between 1,500 to 1,800 horsepower, 510 cubic inches. Again, supercharged big block Chev, running on methanol. Huge supercharger, 1471 supercharger, and he's up on David Alexander's split. Jack Lupton is flying. You can see the rough ride he's getting in the cockpit of GP 57, and he's not afraid to hustle this boat just like his dad Warwick. No fear from the youngster, and this should be a good lap. Look how tight the turn is at the northern end of the course, and the run down to the checkered flag. He's 0.7 up on Alexander, who lost a little bit of time to Ken Lupton on the run down to the checkered flag. 43.19, 1.45 seconds quicker. Jack Lupton the fastest with 2 more boats to come. Annihilator race boats, Warwick Lupton. I don't think there's a championship in the world that Warwick has not won over 30 years. Mass Sport Cup, EC Griffiths Cup, the World Championships. This unique Annihilator race boats with the outrigger configuration. And you can see that from front on. Oh, a moment there for Lupton down the bottom of the course, and he's down on the split from Jack's split at the first turn, 2.95 seconds down. And he's got some RPM going here. Annihilator race boats literally flying down the back straight. A little bit wider through the turn than Jack on the previous run. But he made some gains on the back part of the track. Down to the checkered flag. What's the time for Warwick Lupton? 43.48.3 down. He nearly got it done in the second half of the lap. But it's still Jack Lupton quickest. Next up, it's Raymond Hart in the Boss GP05. Coming back from a big crash a couple of seasons ago. Boat owned by Peter Knight Sr. Spectacular looking boat. And this boat was the benchmark going back 10 or so years when it was known as Boss Mobile 1 in the sinister black paint job. Big moment there, up on its side through the first turn, and he's up at the split, 0.6 of a second up on Jack Lupton's split. Raymond Hart on a lap here at Wanganui. Big RPM. Very, very quick in a straight line. And an aggressive last turn, and he's 0.7 up at the final corner up on Jack Lupton. Can Raymond Hart carry it on down to the line to take the victory here at Wanganui? For Downtown Thunder, he flies across the finish, 42 seconds flat, 1.24 seconds up on Jack Lupton. And then cleans up one of the turn boys on the warm down lap. What a way to finish for Raymond Hart, but he takes out the victory. 42 seconds for the flying lap in the Boss GP05. Jack Lupton second, Warwick Lupton third in Annihilator race boats, Ken Lupton fourth with David Alexander fifth in the Steeler. So that's the first event done for what will be a busy season for the New Zealand GP Hydroplanes and Formula One Tunnel Championship. 4 rounds coming up between now and April. Get out, check them out. These are some of the most spectacular race boats on the planet.